start this session listening to some of the main messages and outcomes from the different group discussions. We are not going to do a full report on each and single post-it and comment that you did in the group. We are not going to repeat that. We just want to highlight some messages. Everything has been collected in the Miro board. They will be made available online, so you all have access to that. So first, I'd like to give the floor to my colleague Julie to raise some of the key messages that emerged from our group related to digital skills to businesses, although we focus as well a little bit around policies because of the nature of the participants as well within our group. So Julie, in a couple of minutes, some of the key messages that were raised in that group.
Yes, thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes.
So some of the interesting points that we raised during the discussion is first to build a strong cooperation, as it was mentioned in the plenary. So in order to take better use of the resources and guide the businesses to the right services. But also another point was to recognize the important role of the intermediaries, and also take the potential of having certified titles to individual experts, and this could create new markets. We also highlighted on the fact that we should tackle the potential of the bottom-up leader approach, such as creating some community of practices which brings together different type of stakeholders, which will help to better identify the needs for skills and training at the local level. On a more policy perspective, there were two main points. The first one is that we need to recognize that there are different ministries at the national level that are working, dealing with digitalization, such as skills and connection. And we need to create more mainstreaming or cooperation between those policy departments, and also have more connection to the more local levels, and have more discussion with the communities. Last but not least is that there is like strong policy support, that there are a broad framework, but it's not very clear to what extent there can be linked to rural areas. And there is this strong need to have a more tailor-made policies to rural areas.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, I don't know if people from this breakout room wants to add more, but
thank you, Julie, for the very complete report back, I have to say. As I said, more of the detailed points will be available. You will have access to them. And I'd like to go to the groups that were dealing with, not with businesses per se, or even policies, which was a bit of the interest as well of our group, but those dealing with different citizens groups. So I'd like to give the floor first to Pascal. Pascal, can you tell us some of the messages, challenges, success factors or recommendations when dealing with digital skills of different citizens groups?
Thank you, Enrique. And in our group, we had policy makers, practitioners, and researchers. So it was a good balance of participation. So in terms of key factors to take into account, the need of having a good level of connectivity remains a key point, as Alexia mentioned, based on a recent study. There are still a lot of, I would say, lagging behind territories with lack of connectivity. So this is something which is very, very important to consider. Also, the importance of having access to equipment for all, meaning that not everybody has, I would say, the capacity to, to buy either a laptop or a phone or an iPhone. So there is this social dimension to take into account, especially also because in some rural areas, in general, in rural areas, there are more poor people than in cities. It's not a generality, but it's an observation in some of the territories. Also, we came back on the need of articulate the infrastructure and the skills, and to consider this articulation on a more holistic approach. We cannot start with one component and then followed by the others. The idea is that it has to be integrated. Also, this identification of needs according to the different either territories or communities or target people is important to take into account. To develop. So this is also an important point. In terms of challenges, the group mentioned that it's important to, I would say, to try to, the difficulty to demonstrate, especially for some target groups like the elderly people, the added value of developing digital skills, which is again important to have, I would say, to develop a social dimension, to access to different services, e-services developed by municipalities or any, I would say, public authorities now, which have developed a lot of e-services to be accessible to anyone. Another point is the issue of language, as the development of digital skills, digital software, etc., are often linked with English, and a lot of people also, especially in rural areas, do not manage the language. And in terms of recommendation, we had not a lot of time to cover that, but what has been mentioned is the importance to enhance the development of mobile provisions of services in the different rural areas, to give, because of the lack of critical mass, there is no, I would say, there are not, we are facing difficulties to develop a lot of digital services. And also what has been mentioned is to try to also to enhance, I would say, the development of healthcare remotely based on digital skills. And I don't know if the group wants to complement, or Anna, if I forgot something important, but Anna had already put on the Miro board different key components that have been mentioned in the different sessions before, which is also a value for the reporting.
Thank you, Pascal. Thank you very much. We had a third group that was working as well on digital skills for different citizens groups. Patricia, would you like to complement some additional points that were not mentioned by Pascal? Probably
yes, Enrique.
So
yeah, indeed, some of them were already mentioned. The success factor of this individualized approach, finding ambassadors that are going to encourage and to create this trust in the community. Maybe I can focus a bit more on things that I think that they haven't been mentioned slightly. The challenge, the access to the services, and not only in terms of connectivity, but also other services like transport. We were saying how maybe in the past there was this universal service obligation, and we were saying, okay, projects cannot tackle this challenge. Projects are bottom up with the communities, but what they can do is to raise awareness about this issue, and then we need, let's say, the combination with the bottom up with the top down, so that the policies are taking action to make the rural areas more attractive, so that this access to services are guaranteed. Otherwise, like, the communities will keep living. And then also around the word community, like, communities are rapidly evolving, and we need to take their needs into account, their changing needs, to make sure that these are matching the support that they are providing. And another question that was what happened with those that, even if we provide training, even if we provide all the support, they are still not, because of any reason, able to make use of these digital skills. We cannot forget about them. We still need to ensure the inclusion. And we spoke about the important role of volunteers, but also other actors in being this mentor, in being this vehicle. And for instance, an innovative practice in France or in Belgium, sorry, was how the volunteers identify shops that got a label that shows that they are user-friendly for these citizens that have like struggle with the digital skills. And the rural community is informed about people being user-friendly with this label, and they know they can go there. They remove this guilt feeling of I will not go because I will feel a bit ashamed of not being able to use it. So it was an innovative practice mentioned in our breakout room.
Very interesting initiative about having labels for digitally user-friendly places. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone. As I said, the intention was just to give you a snapshot of what was discussed in the different breakouts. Now we are heading towards pretty much the end of our webinar, but before we do so, we would really get your feedback around how did you find this webinar. So I'd like to give the floor to Patricia to quickly run an exercise to collect your feedback around this webinar. This is the second one that we organize of this style within the context of the Rural Pact. So we want to really listen to you to make the next ones even more useful if possible.
Indeed, thanks, Enrique. So let's again test our own digital skills. My colleague Anna put the link to the Slido in the chat that you normally can just click, or you don't need any password, or to scan the QR code with your phone, and you will access our let's do it. Our survey that is really important for us to know how to improve the format, the content, the feedback, and so on. So just let's have a quick look. You can go, and it's going to be open. Not only now, we are not going to dedicate the time to go question by question, even if this just will take you a couple of minutes. We are going to leave it open also while my colleagues explain the presentation on the next steps. So you can keep thinking about it. I see that there are several people already connected. So maybe we can see if there is some action there. But yeah, just for you to know that this is going to be opened. You can keep replying, feedback. Besides the typical scoring, then there is also like open questions at the end for anybody who wish to raise more points, good, bad, recommendations, future topics. That will be really useful. Thank you. Thank you,
Patricia. The survey it's open. Will continue open because we want to really listen to you. Thanks, Anna, for sharing the screen. I see 18 responses, so we are 39 here. I hope you have all the link in the chat, and I really hope that we can listen to the feedback of every one of you. So it's still open now. I'd like to give the floor to my colleague Pascal. She will introduce what are the next steps that what we are gonna take as Rural Pact support office. So Pascal.
You are muted.
Thank you. So you see my screen?
Yes.
So thank you. So next steps, as we have already mentioned in the chat, you are going to receive the different presentations that will be available on the website. This is one point. As well, to support networking between yourselves, you will receive the participants list. We will also send you the video recording of the plenary sessions. And we are going to consolidate what we call a highlights report quite short with the key outcomes of the different sessions. So the first point presentation participation list video recordings will be sent quite soon. Highlights report will take a bit more time to consolidate it, but anyway, you will receive it. As Enrique mentioned already several times during the webinar, there will be the Rural Pact platform, which is a collaborative online platform that will be launched on the 29th of June at the occasion of an event that we are organizing on the population. I will mention it in the slide after. And in the framework of this collaborative platform, stakeholders, organizations will be able to create online groups to exchange and share on different topics related to rural development, like the topic that we have covered today. So we invite you, for those who are interested to, I would say, to launch a working group. I will not go into details now to give how those groups will be, how this platform will be detailed. It will be more, I would say, explained and detailed after the 29th of June. So if you are interested, you send us at the email info@ruralpact.eu your motivation, I would say, the topic that you would like to cover, any organization with whom you would like to liaise. So we are listening to your suggestions. In terms of upcoming relevant events, as I said, at the occasion of the Policy Action Lab taking action to tackle rural depopulation, we are going to launch this collaborative platform. It will be organized on the 29th of June in Brussels. And there is also an important event that will be organized in Sigüenza in Spain on from the 27th to the 29th of September, which is a high-level rural policy forum shaping the future of rural areas. And you are invited to consider this, I would say, this event on the website and express your interest as you did for the webinar. Thank you, Enrique.
Thank you very much, Pascal. I hope, as you see, we are going to take quite a lot of action. You don't need to worry. You will be informed of every outcome, every output that comes up out of this event. Again, important message is as well, the Rural Pact is for its members to take action. So you will have a possibility to continue building a community if it is on your interest within the Rural Pact very soon. So if you are interested, please get back to us. We are very eager to listen to what you would like to do and see how we can best help you. In the meantime, and to conclude this webinar, I'd like to give the floor to our colleagues in DG Agri, to Alexia Ruby, who is leading the team working on the long-term vision for rural areas in DG Agri, to do some final remarks and final words about this event. So, Alexia.
Thank you very much, Enrique. And I must say that it has been very fruitful and very interesting and inspirational. So we have learned a lot about different practices, and it shows that there's a number of innovative initiatives ongoing in rural areas that can support this development of digital skills. What we see is that we are really at the crossroads of many different policies, and we highlighted that this digital education needs collaboration. We heard a lot about collaboration horizontally between different ministries, departments, policies, but also vertically between different levels of governance, and public-private collaboration around the specific initiatives and projects. And so that's true of digital education. That's also true of everything we do on the rural vision in general. And so we have a good interface there where we can see how to do something mutually interesting from a policy making point of view. And we have listed a number of success factors on how to make this happen. We have also heard a lot about inclusion today, and I think it was really good that we focused on basic skills, because that's yeah, that's the basics. That's where we have to start from before discussing about ICT specialists, etc., who are also important in rural areas. We also want rural areas to be places of digital innovation, and it's happening in a number of places already. But basic skills are important for quality of life and social inclusion. And we've heard about territorial inequalities, but also about social inequalities. And for some people in rural areas, the two are mixed. So they're also, they suffer from both. So we need to make sure we have an inclusive way to overcome this. I very much hope the platform, the Rural Pact community platform that has just been introduced by the colleagues from the Rural Pact Support Office will be a place where we can continue this discussion and where more practices can be shared and inspire people on how they can do things. I think we will see also how to upgrade our information pages on the Rural Vision website with more links to things that we have seen today that were interesting. And last but not least, I'd like to thank very warmly the team from the Rural Pact Support Office for organizing the webinar. I'd like to thank all the speakers for the time they took to come and present their initiative to us, and to all the participants for staying until the end. Everybody's hungry. And it was a late morning start, but that's the time we need to have a substantial discussion, and we're very grateful that you stayed with us throughout. So thank you very much, and bon appetit. And the floor is back to Enrique, I guess, for closing.
Thank you, Alexia. And with these nice words, I thank you everyone for joining today, for being patient, for your participation, your active contribution. And we hope to see you in upcoming events of the Rural Pact. This is just the beginning of a road. So thank you very much. See you soon, and have a good rest of the day.